The only reason why Sly the Family Stone is able to do it is because they want to sell to the cool kids, because they the people that buy the records anyway. The cool kids and the stoners. And they don't give a shit about what the black people have on anyway, but try to go over there and sell it to Miss Margaret with that red hair and them freckles, and her husband name is Bill, and he work over there at Mad Men. Oh, my life, my life, be waiting for you. No, how you do. Y'all, I'm still trying to recover from that demon that was inside of me. And then it came out on Monday. So if I sound a little stuffy, don't charge it to my heart. These dogs are right here sitting in my lap. You know, if you hear the snoring, don't charge that to my heart either. Okay. All right, with all that being said, well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, and remember to tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NayRob on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue reading. Thank you for letting me be myself again. Sly Stone, a memoir. Getting high was one thing. Moving up in the music world was another one. I made another song called Can She Tell with Billy Preston, but that was released under his name, and it wasn't enough. I wanted songs of my own. The thing about ambition is that you have to work it from all angles. I played with Freddie as the Stewart brothers. He had a thing of his own called Freddie and the Stone Souls. I had a thing of my own called the Stoners. By then, Cynthia Robinson was back in the picture. She had come down to San Francisco to play horn with blues acts like Lowell Fulson and Jimmy McCracken. She had heard me on the radio and came to see me at the station. Jerry Martini visited me at the radio station and started to press the issue. Let's play together, he said. Start a band. He convinced me. Some of the fuel was mine, but Jerry was the spark. In a way, it's not wrong to say that he's the one who really started off everything. I talked to Freddie, who came on. Freddie and I were both mostly guitar players, but we needed a keyboard, so I switched over to that. I could do it, so I did. Cynthia was with us, too, and I tried to convince Rose to come along, but she had a job because she had a daughter. That made that possibility an impossibility. I had asked before and she had tried, but things hadn't planned out, and back to work she went. I'll ask again, I told her. She said she knew I would, but that the answer would be the same. I had rhyme. I had reason. I needed a rhythm. I thought about a drummer named Frosty, a bad mother, a white boy who could play, and dreamed about another drummer, Paul Disdale, a genius. Freddie suggested Greg Errico, his guy, who was also the cousin of Jan from The Vegetables. Freddie liked the hell out of Greg, who was just a teenager. There was a local bass player named Larry Graham. One in a million, chance of a lifetime. Texas to California, like me and Jesse Belvin and Billy Preston. Larry was born in Beaumont, near the Louisiana border. I saw him perform at a club, maybe on Divisadero, in a trio with his mother, who sang and played piano, and a drummer. It had been a family affair since Larry was 15 or so. I was going to borrow Freddie's band name, the Stone Souls, or call the band the Seventh Stone. And there were other contenders to Sly and the Stoners, Sly brothers and sisters. None of them stuck. The name was up in the air. Then at some point it landed. Sly and the Family Stone. The band had a concept. White and black together, male and female, both, and women not just singing but playing instruments. Oh yeah, that was a big deal back then, and it was a big deal on purpose. Even in the basement was only temporary. Soon enough, we were on stage, mostly at a place called Winchester Cathedral. It was in Redwood City, which is about as far south from San Francisco as Vallejo is north. The club had been a few other clubs before. Tin Pan Alley, the Premier Room, but it was bought and rethought by a guy named Rich Romanella. Rich and I knew each other from around. He had managed the Beau Brummels during their autumn years. Rich was a hustler, drove a Cadillac, was all right at times. He wanted to rethink what a club could or would do. Winchester Cathedral had breakfast shows, Sunday night mass, bring a friend night, boogaloo contestants, light shows. We were one of the first acts there, us in a group called the Blue House Basement. Most nights we would play our set, go and get some food, come back and rehearse, and then play a late set. Whether we were rehearsing or playing, by the time we went to sleep, it was both late and early. One night I looked across the crowd of regulars and saw an irregular, a face I couldn't place. Little guy, big eyes, widow's peak, wearing a sharp-as pinstripe suit with a sharp-as shirt. When we finished up, that face I couldn't place was at the edge of the stage. He introduced himself. David Kapralik, producer and manager who worked with Columbia Records. Tall thoughts, talked fast. Couldn't stand still. Kapralik was out from New York to see us. Had heard buzz from a promotions man named Chuck Gregory. Kapralik liked the show, the set, the sound. We were signed to Epic, which was part of the Columbia Records puzzle. Epic meant Columbia, and Columbia meant Clive Davis. At that point, it's hard to think that there was ever a moment when Clive wasn't a legend. But back then, he was new to the record business, at least the talent side of it. He had started out as a lawyer doing work for CBS and had just been put in charge of Columbia's record division. When I first met Clive, I immediately felt a sincere and serious vibe. Sensitive. Tell me about the group and the direction you see yourself going, he said. Up, I hoped. Clive Davis, sensitive, sincere? The devil, that don't go together, Sly. Sensitivity? We worked all summer. In the fall, our record came out. It was called A Whole New Thing. The cover showed me in a yellow shirt looking down at a tabletop. where the rest of the band was in dance poses. The outfits were electric. Go back 5 years or even 3, and you'd see black artists in suits and ties like slick preachers or insurance agents. Black music was stuck there for the purposes of formality and respectability. No. So anyway, you got to remember something about Gen X. Our parents were not far removed from the civil rights movement. Our parents dealt with segregation. A lot of our parents had to be bused to different schools. And our grandparents are only maybe 1 or 2 generations away from slavery. So we had to be bigger, better, and greater than our white counterparts because our grandparents and great grandparents had something to prove to them white racists. My children can be shiny and clean just like yours. As a matter of fact, my children can look even better. They come in here and get your hair pressed. Put on these patent leather shoes and these white gloves. But grandma, we just going to the store. Don't matter. So that's the reason why when you look back at those old school cover albums, we had to be dressed to the nines. The only reason why we were allowed to dress how we wanted to now, or in this area that Sly Stone is talking about, is because Clive Davis, okay, you going to work with me, you going to sell records to everybody. You ain't going to be the limited. You're going to be Bruno Mars. That's who you're going to be, Bruno Mars. Okay, of 1968 or 67, whatever year this is. The only reason why Sly the Family Stone is able to do it is because they want to sell to the cool kids, because they the people that buy the records anyway. The cool kids and the stoners. And they don't give a shit about what the black people have on anyway, but try to go over there and sell it to Miss Margaret with that red hair and them freckles, and her husband name is Bill, and he work over there at Mad Men. Clive Davis asked me around then if I thought that our fashion might distract people from the music. I considered the question. Really gave it thought? No, I said. It was fashion, but it was also feeling. We could be who we were. All right. A whole new thing didn't do a whole lot on the charts. And my first Rolling Stone review was nothing to frame. In general, I don't like talking about reviews. They are one mind frozen in time. I wasn't sure where it all was headed or what it might mean for me. But life popped up with perspective. Vet was in the hospital. She had gotten pregnant the year before at 17. Her boyfriend came from the church world, and even though my parents thought she was too young, they supported her. She carried the baby for more than 6 months and then went into labor. One story says that it was Thanksgiving Day when she was eating pie at Urbano. My parents took her to the hospital. Supposedly, she brought the pie along so she could deliver the baby. 2 things happened. The first was that they found out 2 things were happening. She was having twins. The second was that she slipped out of the bed and hit her head hard. In the confusion of the labor, they ignored the headache that she told them she was feeling. When the babies were out and they got around to asking her about her head, they discovered that the fall had caused a brain bleed. She had seizures and then slipped into a coma. The doctors did brain surgery to clear the clots. My parents put all their faith in the power of the Lord. That says that they stopped eating and had the whole church stop too. believing that fasting would get attention from above. Damn, do you know I have lived all my life and I finally know why people be fasting? Because I'll be I know it's a sacrifice or it's a way of cleansing the body, but I didn't know that it was to say, look, Lord, look at me, Lord. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm starving myself so that you'll pay attention to me. I never knew that, y'all. It took her a while to get back to full strength, but she got there. I wasn't happy that a whole new thing didn't make the right kind of splash. We had worked so hard only to feel like the first step we took might have been a step backwards. But the record's reception was a matter of perspective. Though audiences and critics played it cool, musicians warmed up to it immediately. Dance to the music was pure energy, beamed out from exactly 3 minutes, perfect pop song length.